It's over.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off. It wasn't my war. You asked me, I didn't ask you. And I did what I had to do to win, but somebody wouldn't let us win. Then I come back to the world, and I see all those maggots at the airport protesting me, spitting, calling me baby killer and all kinds of vile crap. Who are they to protest me, huh? Who are they? Unless they've been me and been there and know what the hell they're yelling about.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
The Mamba mentality simply means trying to be the best version of yourself. That's what the mentality means. It means every day you're trying to become better. And it's a constant quest. It's an infinite quest. I want to be one of the best basketball players who've ever played. Okay, how do I get there? And every decision I made in my life was centered around the process of helping me eventually get there. Like you're always going after it. Always going after it, always going after it. And if there's a challenge that ensues, oh good, I want to see how I stack up to that. So I had that purpose. Once I had that purpose, every decision that I made was centered around that purpose.
As soon as I come into the ring, I'm gloved. No, stop it. That's not true. While I'm in the dressing room, 5 minutes before I come out, my gloves are laced up. I'm breaking my gloves down. I'm pushing the lever in the back of my leg. Breaking the middle of the gloves so my knuckle could pierce through the lever. Feel my knuckle piercing against the tight leather gloves on the everlasting boxing glove. I come out, I have supreme confidence, but I'm scared to death. I'm totally afraid. I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of losing. I'm afraid of being humiliated. But I'm totally confident. The closer I get to the ring, the more confidence I get. The closer, the more confidence I get. The closer, the more confidence I get. All during my training, I've been afraid of this man. I thought this man might be capable of beating me. I've dreamed of him beating me. But that went by. I always stayed afraid of him. But the closer I get to the ring, I'm more confident. Once I'm in the ring, I'm a go.
Motown signed you up and you thought, whoa,
This is it.
I have arrived.
Yep.
I, Bruno Mars, am a Motown sensation. And then boom, almost as fast as you got it, they dropped you. How did that feel, that time in your life?
It was taking a step back. I used to be able to walk into a room and say, hey, I'm Bruno Mars, I'm signed with Motown Records. And then now I have to say I got dropped from Motown Records. You lose leverage, you lose people believing in you because they go, well, why didn't it work?
How did you get told the news?
It was like this, hey, we don't want you anymore.
As brutal as that?
It wasn't as brutal as that. And you know what? It's not Motown's fault. I was too young. I didn't know what it was like. I knew I could sing. I knew I could sing, but there's so much more that I had to learn. I didn't come from the recording background. I came from doing live shows and performing with bands, and that was my craft. I didn't know what it took to be, to record and be a recording artist. Now, okay, now you got to write songs. Now you got to establish who you are. I don't know if anyone knows who they are at 18 years old.
Did you react well, or like most 18-year-olds who get
I might have
dealt some
cried. I might have
rejection?
shed some tears.
Did a part of you believe that maybe you weren't good enough?
You definitely have those nights where you feel a little insecure, but I didn't want to give up. I wasn't going to go. My goal was, I'm not going to go back home. I'm not going to go back to Hawaii and face my friends and my family saying it didn't pan out. Now, I got to do something.
I tell senior executives, you should have the least stress. There's this weird, I think, false idea that CEOs, I'm a CEO, there's this false idea that CEOs are under the most stress. Well, I look at that, I'm like, why? You're in charge. Why don't you delegate the stress? It's your choice, and So you have to figure out how to set up your life in such a way that you can minimize the things. And I find people don't dislike hard work. What people dislike is being out of control. Like they can't control their life. They can't control their environment. This happens to me when I get overscheduled. I hate being overscheduled. I want some time to be able to think and free myself. We all have the same amount.
Because remember that in America, for instance, when you study, you will see the percentage of people that like their jobs. 74% hate their job in America. Now, there is not much different when you come to Europe. The majority of people don't like what they're doing because they're really not doing it because they didn't have a goal and they followed this goal. They just aimlessly drift around and then all of a sudden there's a job opening, so they get that job because you have to work. But then when you work, it's a chore. It's work. It's not fun. So if you think about only a quarter of the people really enjoy what they're doing in life, that is unbelievable if you think about it. So I felt so blessed that I knew what I was doing. It's like a medical student that studies and knows he wants to become a doctor. You know where to go.
The reason why I went on stage, this is the reason why I did this, because creatives have got beat up my entire life. And there's moments where I stood up to drug dealers in Chicago and said, you can't have my publishing, come and kill me. Do whatever you're going to do, but you're not going to bully me. You're not going to stop me because my mother made me believe in myself. No matter how many people tell me, stop believing in yourself. Stop seeing what you can do. Stop affirming what you're going to do and then completing that in real life. That's the improper way to do it. I refuse to follow those rules that society has set up in the way that they control people with low self-esteem, with improper information, with branding, with marketing. I refuse to follow those rules. It's about truth. It's about information. It's about awesomeness. And the only luxury is time. The time you spend with your family. That's the only luxury. So this concept of luxury is improper.
Were you teased growing up because of your size?
A lot. I had to figure out two things. Either intimidate you or make you laugh. I was always a bully. Until one day in 5th grade, I had a spit wad. I threw it at the chalkboard. It splattered. This kid rats me out. But prior to that, my father said, if you get suspended again, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna beat you like you've never been beat before because you're irresponsible, you're a medium-level juvenile delinquent, and moving at this pace, you're gonna be nothing in life. I'm not having that in my house. So I'll wait for the kid. Because first I go to the office, 3 days. So now I gotta go home.
You're suspended for 3 days.
Suspended for 3 days. So now I gotta go home. I already know what I'm getting when I get home. But before I go home, I'm gonna whoop your ass. So I'm beating this kid up, and I'm kicking this kid, and he has an epileptic seizure. It's just me and the kid out there. He's on the ground shaking. Now I'm frightened because, uh-oh. So then the guy comes and he saves the kid. And, but after that, I go home and be disciplined. My mother put me to the side and said, you're too big and too strong. You can't ever do that again. And that kind of stayed with me. I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So then I was like, I'm not going to beat people up. Let me go to plan B on how to get them to like me. Because I was always a class clown, funny guy. So now let me just, do this a lot to get people like me. And I just stuck with that rather than being a bully.
Before that, how would people tease you?
Shaquille, Sasquatch, Big African. So I stuttered when I talk. Big dummy. Mm-hmm. I was always shy. I would look at you.
definitely. It's a process. It's a working process. I'm my worst critic, for sure.
Tell me about that a little bit. You're critical of you just want it to be really good.
Yeah, it's really about me challenging myself. I think my excitement in doing music is me feeling like I'm never stagnant, me feeling like I didn't get comfortable in my own skin of what I think is good or what someone else thinks is good. Stepping outside of my comfort zone and mastering it. And that excites me when I feel like I've accomplished that. It just keeps the hunger for more going. Like I don't feel like I can ever stop.
Work hard, like every waking hour. That's the thing I would say if you particularly if you're starting a company. And I mean, if you do simple math, say like, okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year as the other company. The other thing I'd say is that if you're creating a company or if you're joining a company, the most important thing is to attract great people. So either join a group that's amazing that you really respect, or if you're building a company, you've got to gather great people. I mean, all a company is a group of people that have gathered together to create a product or service. And so depending on how talented and hardworking that group is, and the degree to which they're focused cohesively in a good direction, that will determine the success of the company. So do everything you can to gather great people if you're creating a company.
Remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st was the light bulb. Fall forward. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You've got to take risks, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before, but I want to talk to you about why that's so important. I got 3 reasons, and then you can pick up your iPhones. First, you will fail at some point in your life. Accept it. You will lose. You will embarrass yourself. You will suck at something. There's no doubt about it. And I know that's probably not a traditional message for a graduation ceremony, but hey, I'm telling you, embrace it, because it's inevitable. And I should know.
Parents literally did everything they could to give me crazy confidence at literally everything I did. School, sports, singing, joking, they acted like I was the best at all those things, even though other kids were way better than me. My sisters, Elizabeth and Valerie, they included me in everything they did. They would always tell me to sing, tell stories. They'd go to all my games. They'd root for me. They'd even take me on dates with their boyfriends. They just always made me feel like I was the star of the family. My older brother, Scott, I shared a bedroom with him my whole childhood, and he was always nice to me. He's always calm with me. He would just tell me I'm funny all the time. He'd say I was great on the guitar, tell me I could sing as good as Steven Tyler. He told me to read Mad Magazine, and we'd watch Benny Hill together. When it came time to pick my college major, so my brother was the one who said I should be an actor. I said, what should I do with my life? He said, you should be an actor. You're as funny as Rodney Dangerfield and Eddie Murphy. And I never thought that, but he just made me feel like I was. He's the one who brought me to Boston when I was 17 years old. I was a senior in high school, and he brought me to do a stand-up comedy at Stitch's Comedy Club. He set it all up. He says, you're going to get on stage you have 5 minutes to do jokes. What are you going to say? I said, I'm not sure. I just wing it, because I really I had no idea what the hell. I didn't even know you're supposed to prepare. So I went up there. I was terrible. I don't even know what I said. I was like in a fog, those weird fogs you get when you're a stand-up. Sometimes when you lose your mind, I just kind of was babbling. I remember one guy screaming out, he still has a retainer. So, for some reason, on the way home, my brother made me feel like I had the best set of any comedian that night. He said, you just got to prepare next time, but they loved you. And see his family, came back, and he handed me 3 yellow pieces of paper with jokes on them. And he just did it on his own, gave me these jokes. That's when we like became a team and started trying to kick ass together. And all my buddies, my buddy Eric Lamonsoff, who I grew up with, and the guys from my dorm, Jack Garaputo, Frank Karachi, Alan Colbert, who I met in my history comedy class, we just all got very tight with each other, and comedy just became our obsession.
Before my car broke down, spent all my money repairing it, finally made it to Santa Monica, not even LA. Stayed for 48 hours wandering the beach, basically, got in my car, drove home, thus ending my acting career. So, 17, Mishawaka, parents' house, paying rent, selling vacuums, telemarketing, cutting grass at the local 4-H fairgrounds. This was my world going into September 2001. So after the 11th and feeling an overwhelming sense of duty and just being pissed off in general at myself, my parents, the government, not having confidence, not having a respectable job, my shitty mini fridge that I just drove to California and back, I joined the Marine Corps and I loved it. I love being a Marine. It's one of the things I'm most proud of having done in my life. Firing weapons was cool. Driving and detonating expensive things was great. But I found I loved the Marine Corps the most for the thing I was looking for the least when I joined, which was the people. These weird dudes, a motley crew of characters from a cross-section of the United States.
How many people has dealt with pain somewhere in your life? Right? Today, I wanted to just really hit on something. Successfully dealing with pain. I think you hear many stories, and every story I just sat in the back room and listened to. I'm watching these people triumph and figure out ways to keep going. But how do you keep going? Why do you keep going? When the world says everything else is supposed to be opposite. October 7th, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys in Baltimore. And I've studied all week. I've studied all week for this one moment. And I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. And I'm looking at Tony Romo, and I'm watching him drop back. And I'm saying to myself, drop and just pick up your hands and just pick it. Pick means interception. Right? And I'm saying, just catch it. Just pick your hands up and catch it, Lou. You done saw this play all week. Fourth quarter, big drive, Baltimore going crazy. And in the midst of it, the play happens, Romo drops, and I'm sitting there, and in my head, I promise you, I went through every thought. Catch it, knock it down, don't put your hands up. And the moment I hesitated for a moment, and by the time I put my hand up, my hand started to come down. And I felt the sound. I heard a sound that I have never heard in my entire life. And my tricep popped from the bone. And as soon as I hit it, I knew something was wrong. And I said, I cannot believe this. I said, I cannot believe this. Because I know now, this 17 years of me playing. So I know that this is my last ride. This is my last one. My tricep made 9 surgeries. I had 9 surgeries throughout my 17-year career. But I'm sitting there, and when I pop it, the moment I popped it, I said, now you got a choice. And I'm sitting out there with it pop, and all of my players looking at me, and they're like, you all right, Lou? And I'm like, I'm good, let's go. But I know I ain't good. And I know something's functionally not right. Something's wrong. Because I can feel a burn. And 3 more plays after, 5 more plays after, 7 more plays after, 8 more plays after. I'm still out there fighting with my team. Because it's the 4th quarter. And you can't leave the battlefield. You can only leave the battlefield for injury.
thinking about my
28
age.
is 28 and 26 to 28 is when you've already been brokenhearted. You already went to college. The job you wanted, you didn't get. You already, it took you a while to get a job. Maybe you got a job. Now you're paying back loans. And you find yourself working, ironing a shirt every night, living with 3 guys, drinking. And all of a sudden you're like, at the end of the week, I got no money. So you start thinking about your life. You go, what the fuck happened? 1 minute I was graduating college, and the next minute I'm living with 3 fucking guys. I'm broke. They're fucking mutts,
It's a line from a comedy album, but around this time is when you figure out, like, your dreams aren't going to come true. Like, you realize, like, oh, like, they might not come true, which is just, it's weird.
Asking yourself, why not you, is part of what I mean by living with legacy. See, I've been lucky enough to meet all kinds of people who are living the life they've always wanted, but they have different goals, but they reach those goals in different ways. But there's one thing they have in common. They all believed it was possible. Throughout your life, you're going to have plenty of chances to give up on your dreams. I can't tell you how many opportunities I've had to quit. But if you got that voice in your head saying, why not you, that helps you keep going. And it helps you keep working. Because if you believe all things are possible, well, that still means you got to put the work in to make it happen. Why not you is a winner's mentality. It's about dreaming and delivering. It's a question that doesn't just make you confident, it makes you try harder.
You want to be successful? You want to be like Trump? Gimme, gimme, gimme. Push, 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 push. Step, step, step. Crush, crush, crush. That's how it all is. And it's like, nobody ever stopped. Just, I feel like instead of us just being like slavery's bad, slavery's down, bad whitey, bad whitey. I mean, all right, let's stop that. And everybody's smart enough to know that, we've been slighted. And we want ours. And I don't mean by like ours, 40 acres and a mule, because we're past that. But we need help. For us to be on our own 2 feet, us meaning youth or us meaning black people, whatever you want to take it for us to be on our own 2 feet, we do need help. Because we have been here. We have been a good friend. If you want to make it a relationship type thing, we have been there, and now we deserve our payback. It's like you got a friend that you don't never look out for. You dressed up in jewels. Now Americans got jewels, and they paid and everything, and they lending money to everybody except us. And it's like, everybody need a little help on their way to being, self-reliant. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing about the album.
I found an amazing partner in Noble, my friend Mike Rapoli. Mike and I have had a lot of conversations over the years and how we're going to impact people. And the way you do that is through a mindset. And the mindset is me versus me. It's no bullshit. And I think what I felt when I had an opportunity to go to college and had an opportunity to go and play pro sports, and I wanted to leave no stone unturned. I always wanted to think, what do I need to do better? Where do I need to put more emphasis? And it was all about not making excuses. And it was really no bullshit. Yeah. It was about how do we go and get it done? Where are my priorities and how do I want to go create actions around what my priorities are? And still trying to take that mentality, though, that I had as an athlete into other parts of my life, into other parts of, still ways to touch people in a positive way and impact people in a positive way. And I still get to be involved in a lot of sports and sports businesses. And so I think sports does a great job bringing people together.
10,000 people, that's a lot of folks. But if every one of you changed the lives of just 10 people, and each one of those people changed the lives of another 10 people, and another 10, then in 5 generations, 125 years, the class of 2014 will have changed the lives of 800 million people. 800 million people. Think about it. Over twice the population of the United States. Go one more generation, and you can change the entire population of the world. 8 billion people. If you think it's hard to change the lives of 10 people, change their lives forever, you're wrong. I saw it happen every day in Iraq and Afghanistan. A young Army officer makes a decision to go left instead of right down a road in Baghdad, and the 10 soldiers with him are saved from a close-in ambush.